This video is not story time, but I will tell a little bit just so that, you know, you can kind of understand like why we designed it and where we're going. So the big thing, obviously, with the LTG is that we thought putting a truck gun inside of your vehicle, not really something good financially to do, because, you know, financially being the least of your concerns. The worst would be is that like a criminal would steal it.
Yeah, sure.
That's where this came from, and the desire is that, you know, you would already have your carry gun. You total up the cost of actual defensive ammo and the magazines and the unit itself, you're probably sitting around $300 for everything right here. That's not a terrible price whenever you consider the actual benefit. Whereas, first of all, I'd love to see you buy a rifle for $300. That's actually really capable.
It's gonna be a hard ask.
Let's just run it. Like, this is probably around $3,000. This pistol right here is probably another 700. We've got multiple, but I don't think there's a single gun out here that's worth less than 1,000 as of right now. You don't want to lose your guns, lose your rifles. So that's why this was developed. So you gain capability by having medical, because, you know, the saying is like, oh, you know, you gotta have a gun to be in a gunfight, but that's true. But what happens after a gunfight? You know, there's holes in things and you need medical. This particular unit was with me whenever I responded to a car crash. A fatality was involved in it. Because of the form factor, I was able to have this directly under my seat. It was something I was able to pull out and just be able to use. But now let's actually talk about, like, we're not diving into story time yet. We're just talking about, this is quite genuinely the first prototype, and I have kept this, and it's been used. So this is like the core of why we started.
And when did we make that?
Oh my God.
It was over a year ago.
Yeah, it's in all honesty, we were talking about it when I still lived in Colombia. So no, we're probably sitting at 2 years now.
Yeah,
whenever they
been
like
a while.
first sitting around 2 years, making something that is modular, something that is capable, something that is a hole in the market, but not outrageous in price.
Yeah.
I think I covered all the details about why this is practical. So would you mind just diving a little bit into like what they've done here?
Yeah. So first of all, this is the most recent bag from the manufacturer. So this is everything besides the magazines and obviously the stuff inside of it and like some of the clips and stuff. This is...
Yeah, these are extra clips. As we were going through, we were talking about like, these aren't going to be on the final design.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. But first of all, you'll probably notice, compared to this one, quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
This was just done for their processes of developing the actual design. So we did have a more professional prototype of what Jacob has here that we had made, and we sent that to them. And then
I know you got an ear pro in, but like, you know how loud you talk.
yeah. So yeah, this is quite a bit bigger because they were doing some testing with making this thing as durable as possible.
Are we going to have it be this big?
No, this is going to be the same form factor as this.
Okay.
Just the way that nylon manufacturing happens, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes how much material you're going to need. So it's better to just kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, it's better to have more and then have to trim it.
Well, and that right there, what you said, have more and trim it. They pushed, we threw them a lot of ideas that came from this early prototype.
Yeah.
And we said, just throw everything into there, and we want to test and get, you know, to a point where we can trim. And obviously the thing that we really like about the early prototype is its form factor.
It's slim. Yeah.
It is relatively thin. I think it could be thinner. But we tossed so many ideas at them, so many things to make this modular and better, hopefully, that they tossed everything in there. So it's obviously a big unit.
So like Jacob was saying, these clips that are on the side, this actually, we'll take this off.
Yeah, so this is one of the key components of this rig. So what this just did, this one is unable to do. It doesn't have that feature, and that was something that we really, really wanted it to have.
Yeah, so obviously full Velcro back placard. Now the cool part about this is, we'll talk about that in a minute, but they added these clips on the side. As you can see from just holding this up, when you put magazines into this elastic, just by the nature of elastic, it starts to kind of bend in on itself like that. So trying to come up with ways that we can circumvent that so that it's not peeling up on the sides is one of the big reasons why we had these clips, and we thought, well, let's try and make it modular and have clips that are in the same place as standard like
Plate carriers.
plate carrier
A-trigs.
placards. Yeah. But let's also try these clips on the side to see if maybe pulling it, back like this would be advantageous. So,
But it wasn't.
it wasn't. So but yeah, adding the clips was a big thing that we did.
And
Number
these
one,
clips are the ones that we're going to keep.
yeah, these top clips. Being able to have that modularity there where you can buy like an S-Tac. You could buy an S-Tac like 556 placard or an S-Tac SMG placard.
You could swap out, if you're not wanting to run your pistol on this, the end user can change it to be whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly. So you could use that, and then it's got Velcro on the back, so you just slap it down. Pretty easy.
Or say you've already got the placard on a plate carrier and you say, hey, it'd be better fit on the LTG. Go ahead and swap it on.
Yeah.
And another big thing about the Velcro is that you can add to it.
This is actually sold as a 556, I guess, dangler pouch, but we actually use this for a radio, or you could use it for a tourniquet, or really whatever. There's all sorts of companies that make...
There's tourniquet-specific pouches that probably be better for it.
Sure. There's all sorts of companies that make these little danglers, or whatever you call these things.
Yeah, you could have an admin pouch on here, or all sorts of different gizmos. I'm sure the public is very familiar with.
Yeah, like the Simp pouch from a very fitting name for Grand Thumb.
Yeah, Onward Research. Yeah.
Onward Research, yeah. So you could get something like that, and you can have a bigger admin pouch if you need extra room for whatever, but that's a cool part about this design too. Another cool thing is the straps. So obviously with these buckles being on here, it kind of gets in the way of the straps a little bit, but these straps have Velcro on the bottoms of them so that you can configure this in whatever way you need. And we've also added a softer, thicker shoulder strap thing. But you can, as you saw Jacob's, he doesn't have any straps on it, and it's not that it's difficult to add straps, it's just you really only have one option.
We only had D-rings, and that's not the best case scenario. We wanted this thing to be modular. Say you don't want anything, it's very easy to take them off. But if you want them,
speaking of modularity,
you can.
We have a waist strap too that works in the exact same way.
And you can invert it too. If you're left-handed, right-handed, you can put it on any side body that you desire.
Exactly. So you can do that, or you could just not use it.
True.
If you don't want a waist strap, you can just not use it. If you want one, you can use it. The zipper on here,
this is a huge plus compared to the first one.
Yeah.
With my rig, there's two things on the side that prevent the zipper from going down, and it's just kind of a pain to get this thing to open up. And that was one of the things that, after the incident happened, where I responded to the crash, I immediately told Patrick, I said, we got to have some quick way to open up this thing.
Yeah. And you'll see that's what we've done. Now, our strap here is not finished yet. This was kind of not rushed, but it's kind of rushed a little bit so we could get this out here today to show you guys. But we are going to have a little loop that has Velcro on it so that this will stay on the front. But this zipper is, forget what they called it, but it's one of the ones that opens super easily. So you can barely pull on this thing, and it just absolutely just opens all the way. Same exact contents that we had in the initial video, same exact layout. We just found that to be the best. It holds as much stuff as you need.
Yeah, you're gonna find mission dependent. Maybe you might want multiple tourniquets. This isn't as kitted out as it probably should be, but
yeah. But you can
again,
put a
we're dealing with
tourniquet.
Prototypes here, and
Yeah, you can put a tourniquet right here, and you can also put one like right here. Like you could have multiple. We have some spots that are not.
We've got a lot of area, and obviously this is going to be a little bit flatter setup where you're going to have areas where you're going to have hemostatics, bandages, and wraps, and different compartmentalized areas where you're going to be able to get into stuff. The elastics and stuff are obviously staying, but it's just kind of refining the product to
shrinking it down.
Yeah.
Shrinking it down. And then of course we have our slip pouch on the front, as you guys can probably see that slip pouch on the front, and a zipped pouch over here. So this gets in the way a little bit, but realistically,
when it's open, you're just
it's not.
Your non-importance are going to be in here. This
Right.
is for after you're done with the.
There is a top and a bottom to this. Obviously, the top is the one that has the slip pouch because gravity works that way, and then the bottom is going to have the zipper so stuff doesn't just fall out. One cool thing about the manufacturer that I want to touch on, this is all being made in America. Really close, actually, to where our company is based out of.
In the same state.
In the same state. So
aren't we the first contract that they have that isn't DoD?
We are the first private company that they're working with. Everything else is DoD, but I say DoD because
they only deal with American-made parts first of all, and then it's American-made.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it has to deal strictly with that, because a lot of times you'll have manufacturers where you say, "Oh, it's American-made," but then you find parts that are from Vietnam and Taiwan and the Philippines and all sorts of other places.
Now, with that being said, this is not Berry compliant.
Well,
this is not Berry compliant. What that basically means, for those of you who don't know, for something to be Berry compliant, it has to be, everything has to be in the U.S. So I'm talking like the plant, like the fibers have to be grown in the U.S. for the nylon.
Every single part of the process has to be American.
Everything has to. So this, I don't know where they source the fabric from, but they are putting Americans.
And it's the same craftsmanship is the part that we are really fond of, is that this is, it has American hands making this.
Yeah. I mean, this comes in as a raw material, right? So it just comes in as a big roll of nylon, and that's it. I mean, these clips come in big batches, but like that's how it just comes in, and so it's really cool to be able to make something, in America.
Well, that's kind of where we're at right now. The next steps are obviously trying to shrink the form factor and get it to more resemble this while maintaining the functionality that we saw from this prototype.
Yes, and that's what we're doing today. Is we're testing this. We're getting our hands on it, seeing what works, what doesn't work, so that we can report back to them. So I would say that our first production run,
major success.
Yeah, absolutely. So
every single feature that we pitched to them, more than 80% of it is stuff that we like, and it's stuff that's going on the final prototype.
Yeah. Whenever we get the final design solidified, we're going to have our 3-month testing phase where we're going to be using these things. We already use these things every day. We're going to be using them every day in their final form factor.
Yeah, the first prototype in its conceptual form has been utilized firsthand.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and you've got one in your truck, and all of our other business partners do as well.
Yeah. So like you said, we're just going to give it out to our business people that we trust and stuff like that, and we'll have them run it for a handful of months. Then these things will be ready to be made. I mean, these things will be on the market, so
sold and benefiting people.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in purchasing this, check out our website, purposefularmament.com.
And definitely subscribe to the socials, because we're going to be putting information out there. Like, this is obviously a PA Concepts video. This is going to be, I imagine some clips of this are going to be on YouTube and other places, but huge that you follow, because we're going to be advancing. We've got a lot of cool things coming as of recently that are kind of pairing with this, but
and make sure, with that being said, go to the website and sign up for the newsletter. There's going to be stuff that comes up. One of our big pushes is to allow you guys to select, whenever you sign up for the newsletter, what kind of products you're interested in, so that you can get specialized emails for those products. So if you went to the website and you are interested in the Alt-TG, you can sign up to receive notifications about the Alt-TG, and it's a lot easier for us to write something and take pictures and put it in an email than it is for us to come out and make a video. Not that making the video is necessarily hard, but
it's not going to be as detailed or as up to date as a newsletter.
Exactly. The newsletter we can put out like day that things are happening, right? So, for those kind of things, that is going to be,
because we're recording this right now, but in all reality, this video is probably going to come out in
a couple of weeks.
Best case scenario, a week, but
a couple of weeks. And so it's just, and a lot of this stuff, like we've been saying, the stuff is moving fast. I mean, we're in communication with the manufacturer on not quite a daily basis, but we check in at least a few times a week, and they have really been dedicating a lot of resources to make sure that we are getting exactly what we want, and making sure that they're ready for production and all kinds of stuff. From going from this that we threw together to now this, I mean, that's wild.
Yeah. You've got a ton more functionality in the new unit, and going to be able to slim it down and get it back to the conceptual, back to what this kind of roots for. Making sure we don't have all the extra fluff, and just get it down to like, this is the most cost efficient, best, hole in the market filling device
Yeah.
that we have designed.